Morning, everybody. I'm just going to switch my view here and get my headphones on. Welcome back to day 18 of Untold Adventures Await in Prisma Arena. It's day 16 of NaNoWriMo, episode 16. We're on season 3, episode 2. Oh my god, I got that wrong. Yes, episode 2. So I actually need to fix my banner before I put it up. So we're on season 2, episode 2. Save that. I'm going to show that. And we've kind of shifted the location to the Prisma Academy, where the characters are, where the training happens in the Prisma Arena to become a guardian of hope in a time of despair. So I was actually just in the process, I'm going to top down view, of kind of resetting all the characters. So I think I mentioned yesterday I was going to adjust these and kind of reset them down to their base form. So this is kind of like the basic characters with the blasters on them. So our 4 characters, we've got Jasan, Vika, Eleanor, and our new character whose name I had written down, Demona. Demona. So, and I think I need to create a character sheet for her before we jump into the episode. So I think I'll do that first, and then we'll get started. Morning, Niels from Denmark. It's good to have you on board. I'm kind of curious, have you played Untold before? And if so, what have your experiences been? And I'll do that as I'm getting my character sheet out for Demona. Okay, so I'm going to put this up here. I'm going to drop that there as a kind of reminder. So the character's name is Demona. And her job or role is to train as a guardian of hope, I think. I think she's a student of the Prisma Academy. Okay, and what compels them to go on adventures? So I kind of think from the last episode, it was like it was Demona's parents had kind of spotted that kind of glimmer of Prisma within them and wanted Demona to go and train because the parents weren't. It was also a form of protection because of what the parents were seeing the Merchants Guild were doing, of which they were a part. So I think it's ultimately to kind of honor and protect her parents. What specials has she got? So again, I might just roll some of the story cubes and see what I come up with for that. So I'm going to switch to this. I think after 16 days, I'm finally getting a little bit more fluid with my camera switches. So 2 specials. So, I mean, I think Demona does come from a kind of a wealthy background. So I think she's going to have, I'm just going to say access to money. Money, or we just put it as like wealthy parents. And her other one is so I'm kind of looking at these two together, and I'm gonna treat it as like so just so you can see them. I'm gonna treat these like kind of bars, and this almost like a referee. And I'm gonna say she's great at gymnastics, so incredibly acrobatic. Again, it's kind of a given that they all have access to kind of Prisma powers as well. So while I'm drinking this, so Niels, that's great. I think hopefully watching these episodes is a kind of helpful way to see how I'm being quite fluid with the use of Untold. It definitely gives you structure and kind of like helps move the story on and keep it focused. But like, I'll try and share what's going on in my head as we're playing it to help you then when you're playing it with your family as well. Because I think 13 and 14 is a great age to play this with, because they'll have been probably watching a lot of like Netflix, and so seeing how episodes work. And I was actually watching She-Ra and Avatar in the run up to doing this to kind of help me get a sense of like the scale and the scope of what might happen in an episode. Because I think that the trick is really to keep it as focused as possible. Okay, so we've got Dimona ready to go. I'm just going to put it over there. Set that aside. Okay, so the last episode ended with I'm going to switch back to the board. So the last episode ended with us discovering that the coach had been kind of aiding, let's see, the kind of the jocks, the older students at the academy. They were giving them kind of like a stimulant to help with passing the final test to become a guardian of hope. And we tried to tell the principal. They weren't having any of it, but they said they'd kind of keep an eye out. We tried to tell, I think it's Omar. Again, you're just talking about how bad I am, but name's Omax. Eleanor tried to alert Omax. He didn't listen, but Nadalia said that he would keep an eye out and do some investigating to see what was going on. So I think we've kind of got a fresh opening for this episode. Rumors were being spread about the students as well, about our heroes as well, of being kind of troublemakers. So I think they're feeling a little bit isolated in the academy. So we're going to jump straight in and I think begin the next episode. So I haven't changed the dice up yet. Sticking with the same set for the moment. So I'm going to roll and then kind of maybe do some kind of intro. As well, I'm trying to keep a couple of these episodes kind of located. Just move this in a bit more. Kind of in and around. I'm trying to contain the scale of it so that it's kind of set in the academy rather than kind of rushing off to other places, though I suspect that's going to happen at some point in the adventure. But for right now, I think I think we are. I think we're in the lunch hall. Yeah, so I think it's kind of like lunchtime. And our heroes they've just gotten out of class and they are heading to the lunch hall when they notice that I think there is a So this is catching my eye. I'm trying to think how I want to interpret that one. So fish, it could be someone from Glorthan. It could also be a kind of a creature of some kind, I guess. And I kind of want that kind of, yeah, maybe it's something that, because I want this kind of like eclectic mix of creatures and characters here. So I think I spot, and I'm going to call them, they're called, I think I'm just going to call them boba. So they're these kind of like fish-like creatures. So they would kind of have like eyes on the sides of their heads. Somewhat humanoid, and so almost kind of like a merman. They have kind of scales on their body. They have kind of webbed fingers. So I think they are. And introduce them as a new creature as a boba. And we see a boba, so someone from that kind of race is attacking someone or something. So yes, so I'm going to buy myself some time by answering Neil's question. So yes, Neil, I just switched out one of them from, I can't remember the name. I don't think I called it sport, but it's that one. It's the kind of sport theme set, because I thought for training in the academy, it would be helpful to have that. In terms of trying to decide which sets to use, I kind of look for ones that have, well, if it's the theme of the story that I want to tell. So if I want to have a more mystery themed story, I'll mix that in. So you'll notice I haven't got Fantasia in here, because I'm not looking for that kind of high fantasy type setting. I'm looking for things with kind of powers, and I do have, like last week, I was playing with some of the strange set because I wanted mysterious things to be going on in the episode and things that would prompt that. So if you have an idea of the setting and the type of story you want to tell, I would kind of mix and match some icons that come from a set that matches that kind of theme or feel of what it is you're going for. Okay, so as we kind of wander in, we're kind of chatting to each other, and we hear this kind of hubbub, and there's a fight breaking out between this boba and someone else. So I'm going to see who they are fighting with. Kind of got to go with that. So I think it's a young Terrapan who is in the school as well. So if you remember from the first episode or the first season, Eleanor befriended. I'm going to look up his name again. So many names to remember. Gorkin, the trader, and actually also so did Jisan. Jisan made friends with Dika, the Terrapans as well, living in Glorthan. So I think it's a young. I think it's like a first year, so someone in our class or in our year, and they're fighting each other, and I think they're kind of name calling, and Yeah, I think so. I think I'm going to get in. I think both Eleanor and Jasan, they just don't even hesitate. They just kind of run in to try and break this up. So let's see how that goes. Okay, so they managed to kind of get in between them and push them both apart. And they kind of ask them, what the hell is going on? Okay, I think there's lots to choose from here. So I think, and so I'm going to buy myself time for a little minute. Niels, yeah. So I think even between episodes, I might change them if I think the story's going a different direction, or even if I feel like it's getting stuck in a rut. So the same, I keep seeing the same icons, like say that this has kind of become synonymous with the Terrapan. If that was coming up a lot and I was actually struggling to kind of break my association with it, I might switch in a different story cube. Or you might notice it towards the end of the series, I'll actually start pulling back in cubes that I want, because I want certain elements to kind of crop up again in those later episodes to help me tie things together. And so, okay, I'll also do that maybe tomorrow. I'll make a point of mixing in some different sets, so it becomes a different kind of. You'll see how it'll become a different kind of story. I might try to tell it like a more mystery themed story tomorrow. They were. What are they fighting over? I think they are fighting over. So I think it's this. So I think the so the boba is, I want to say kind of fighting with the Terrapan, because they were saying they basically kind of blew the whistle on them. So they ratted them out for oh no, so maybe they're in the same year. They're in the same year, and they're ratting them out for kind of what I'm going to say is cheating in a test. So I'm kind of looking at this where they kind of tipped the balance of the test, and it might have been in their like their history test, because you got to study the history and lore of Silas. And they denied doing it, and right, so kind of hard to get to the bottom of this one. Well, so I think I'm going to ask. Well, so who's got the? One of them is quite persuasive, I think. Or have we lost that? Okay, so I think so. Eleanor says, "Well, then, like, summon your Mocon of trust and tell us what really happened." So I'm going to flip the card, and whatever it is, that is like they declare kind of what happened as to whether they did cheat or not. Okay, so so that is that they had actually cheated, but they did it because they're trying to win over. They've been falling behind in history, and they haven't been doing great, and they're trying to win over their teacher, who is, let's give them a name. That's going to be, they've actually become a character as well. So just making some notes here. I've got a kind of, so the Boba character is going to be called Sika. Boba student. Okay, and then the teacher's name is going to be just Hermunga. I think they're just like this kind of, I don't know. I just have the sense of them being some kind of big creature. So I think they're the history teacher. So they're trying to win over Hermunga because they haven't been doing great in their previous exams, and they're at risk of flunking if they don't improve. So let's see. Well, I think Demona has a need for fairness and honesty. So I think she's going to tell them that you need to hand yourself. You need to tell the principal or Hermunga, or we're going to do it. So I think an action token. Over. Okay, so they kind of, I think, reluctantly agree to do it. And I think we're just going to move on to the next scene then. So, so they've got some. There's someone kind of influencing them. So I think there's another student. So as we're talking to them, I think someone with a kind of, so I don't often get to use this, someone with a really kind of magnetic personality, who again is a kind of like an older student in the academy. And I'm going to say their name is maybe another Boba, actually. And their name is Korea. So we kind of do it as level. So you kind of start as novice. I got to remember these things. Seeker, a tuner, channeler. So I think they are a channeler. So they're not quite a guardian. And as we're chatting to Lasika, this other Boba comes up and kind of puts her arm around them and is like, "Hey, how's it going? What's going on here? Anything the problem? Anything I can help with?" And I think Boba or Lasika kind of looks at them and kind of says, "Oh, I was just talking to my friends about how you helped me with my exam." And I think there's this like flash across Korea's face and just kind of like elbows them. And I just want to kind of see what their reaction is. And I think they kind of laugh and say, hey, well, if any of you are ever, stuck trying to reach your goals, maybe for a small payment, I can kind of help kind of unlock them. So basically, they're kind of, in a very roundabout way, offering to help them to cheat at their exams. And they I think they kind of head off. And we're like, oh no, we're fine, we're okay, thank you very much. Yes, if you ever need it, we'll look you up. Thank you very much. Well, we gotta go now. And so I think Korea kind of like grabs Lasika and kind of says, hey, kind of walk with me. And as they walk off, we kind of listen in to hear what they say. Okay, they basically say, okay, so I think they say, I think, yeah, they say, kind of, Lasika, my man, you gotta keep an eye on the goal. You know what we're here for. And if you don't kind of like play along, keep your grades up, fit in, you're going to get sent back to, I think, the name of of where they're from is going to be is it Qualia? I don't know, maybe Qualia, which is kind of like an underwater place. So maybe these are more, not so much, I think these are amphibious, so they can live in water and out. So they are, sorry, I'm just going through my notes. So first thing, boba, I'm going to say they're amphibious. Humanoids. And location, what did I say is Qualia. No, yeah. So that's an underwater home of boba, of the boba. Okay. So I think we need to find out a bit more. So yeah, Sin, you basically got to keep your grades, not give yourself away. Otherwise, you're going to get sent home, and we're not going to complete our kind of mission. So I'm going to see. So I think we. Decide to go and talk. And again, I'm going to talk about here. Pause here for a sec. Traditionally, I used to kind of play this where everything happened in the scene and in the moment of trying to figure things out. And I've realized by talking and playing more with John, who's the co-designer on this, how he gets really creative with how he kind of uses the scenes, because essentially these first two tiles happen immediately one after the other. They're both kind of like act one of the story. But I think as a little break, we're going to go and talk to Nadalia and ask her, like, what does she know about the Boba, and what's their kind of relationship with the kind of the Academy and Prisma Arena. So I'm trying to figure out if there's anything underlying here that we should know about. I'm going to mute and cough. So, excuse me. Okay, so I think so there's something about this, I think, and because I want to bring back in the Bazee in some way, I think the Boba and the Bazee I think have both kind of been at odds with each other over the years. There's been conflict. And I think at one point, the Guardians got involved and they tipped the balance in favor of the Boba against the Bazee. Because we've seen the Bazee, where in previous episodes we're kind of quite had been, their sense was they've been treated unfairly by the kind of residents of Beacon. So yeah, I think so. There's kind of like there's been this antagonism between the two, and it's probably why the Boba were admitted into the Academy, which I think the Bazee still resent that they weren't allowed in. I'm just wondering, is there anything kind of, and I think it's never really been worked out why the Guardians showed preference to the Boba over the Bazee. I think that's it. I think there's something going on there where no one's ever quite worked out, and you don't really ask about it. Yeah, so there's some kind of, so I think there's some thread there, I think, to consider, which is why did the Guardians assist the Boba over the Bazee? Curiouser and curiouser. Okay, so that's all my questions asked. So I think they're up to no good. Oh, I think our characters have to assume that they're up to no good. And I think if so I don't think our friend Lasika is actually going to go and report themselves after running into Curia. I think Curia's kind of persuaded them not to. So I think we're going to have to do it. So I think I'm going to use this to kind of represent the principal's office. So kind of like the prince wearing the flag. So I think we're going to go. Actually, no, hang on. I can use different. No, so I can use this for history. I'm going to represent, and we're going to go to the room, Mr. Humunga's room, to talk to them and tell them what we've discovered. And I think we persuade that young Terrapin, whose name is going to be but Joseph, no. Viwan is a Terrapin. So Viwan, I think. The Terrapin, we persuaded them to come with us to report to Mr. Humunga about what they've seen and what's happened. So I'm going to pause for just a second. So Neil, yeah, I think in terms of the first trick with interpreting the icons is not to treat them literally. So treat them as like the name of something. So it could be the Pyramid Society, for this one. Instead of kind of saying it's the pyramids, it could be, I always think it's great to name a location like a bar or a cafe, or, depending on your setting. So it could be, the Tilted Pyramid, and that's the name of the tavern that you go to. I also have an idea of like, you interpret them in the context of the adventure that you're having. So instead of the dice pulling you off into different directions, you kind of use them to serve and function within the boundary of the story or the world that you've created. So it's not likely I'm going to go off to somewhere where there's pyramids right now, unless I use it to kind of describe, maybe that's the shape of the room in which Mr. Humunga has his class. But yes, it's trying to think them in terms of like emotions, reactions, and get outside the normal associations of the icons. But I often kind of bend them a lot as well to what I would kind of want them to be. So we go to Mr. Humunga's room, and let's say it is kind of, because this is kind of Beacon and the Prisma Academy, maybe it is shaped actually as a kind of a large kind of pyramidal structure with kind of seating going up to the side, and they would stand in the middle, and they would have like projections on the table as they recount the history of Sullus. That'd be kind of cool, seeing these like almost like holographic movies being played out as they kind of recount the history of Sullus. And I think we arrive there. I think we're on our way more so. And I think it's going to be Lasica. Is it Lasica? No, I think it's going to be Kyria. Kind of as we're heading there, Kyria kind of steps out and goes, "Oh, hey guys, where are you headed?" And we kind of say, "Nowhere in particular." And they say, "Well, hopefully you don't mind if I tag along with you." And I think as we're walking, we all kind of look at each other, and Jasan, who has that ability to kind of blend in and kind of like not be noticed, I think they're going to quietly just see if they can kind of drop away unnoticed. Okay, they do. But they see something or someone reacts. Okay, I think I slip away, but Kyria notices that I'm gone. So I managed to get away, but Curia notices, and so I'm going to see how does Curia react to the fact that I am now gone. So I'm going to spend a modified dice, and I think to turn it over to that side. And I think Curia says, if you do what I think you're going to do, which I know you're not going to do, because if you were to do the thing that you're not going to do, your friend, for one, is going to suffer for it. Just saying. And I think I'm going to pause that for a second, because what I want to do is Jasan is going to see if they can get to. I think Jasan sees what's going on, and is going to, I think, race to see if they can. I think Jason really doesn't like bullies, like are kind of people who are kind of threatening him that way. So not bullies, but basically is trying to manipulate other people to get to meet their own ends. And they. I have another question I'm going to ask. So I'll come back to that. So I think he's going to race to try and get. I'm going to say Dr. Hermonga, the history teacher, to try and find them and explain what's going on. No, so I don't think Mr. Hermonga is there. There's nobody in the kind of history kind of lecture hall, and so I think Jasan turns and races back. In the meantime, I think Demona is going to ask, like, why? Like, why is this so important to you? So I think I'm trying to think how I have an idea, but I'm trying to think how I would weave it in. So I think, why is it so important to you that you do not get caught? Because they are. I think so. This kind of something to do with Prisma shards. I think they kind of say our continued exit. For the Boba people, our continued kind of existence and well-being is dependent on the support of the Guardians. I'm not sure exactly how, that they have. So hang on, let me go back. They don't want to get kicked out of the school. They don't want to get into trouble because so I think actually I need to become a guardian, and in order for us, like, we can't rely on the Guardians forever, and so the Boba need their own Guardians to be able to defend our people, and get access to the kind of the kind of weapons and technology that would help them. I want to use the bridge in some way, like a kind of portal gap. So I think they need to become Guardians to defend themselves. Because I think the kind of the bridge or the link between the Boba and the people of Sullust and the Guardians is quite fragile. So I think, to sum it all up, they've been sent by their people and told, basically, you need to become Guardians at all costs, no matter what it takes, in order to protect our people. Because we can't rely on the goodwill of the Guardians forever, and I think they're kind of a proud people. They don't want to be dependent on that either. Okay. But I think I'm gonna. So I think Vika, who kind of tends to see things in black and white, says, but like, surely this is not cheating. Is not the way to become a Guardian. How can you become a Guardian if you cheat? Will you not like accept other help and commit to doing it fairly? So I think he's going to try and persuade them with their logic. I think they say, well, I would, but I don't think I'm smart enough to do it. And I'm worried about what will happen if I don't, if we don't succeed. There are a number of us here, and I fear that the consequences of us failing are too great. So they're kind of open to getting help. So I think so do we have an idea? I think because like something not great is going to come after this. But I think, yeah, you know what, I'm just going to leave it at that. I mean, I could expand it a bit more. Or maybe I will. So they agreed to take help, but they're kind of afraid of learning. He's older than us, so we can't really help with his grades. But we do know someone with extensive knowledge, which is Nadalia. So I wonder if we can persuade Nadalia. Well, I think we have a bunch of contacts from around. So I think Demona kind of joins in and says, well, so if no, so who knows them? It is Jasan. So Jasan says, oh, if we set up a kind of a study program, I think we have someone who can help. Would you be willing to join? So I think their goal is to kind of get the help of Nadalia to run this. So we'll help. Okay, we will. But I think he fears it's too late. He's not hopeful that it's going to happen. No, actually, I think it's Nadalia is complaining. So I think they agree, and we contact Nadalia, and she agrees, but she's like, I've got so much on, you owe me for this, and I think we the heroes wholeheartedly agree to help with that. So we've agreed that we're going to set up a kind of like a study group to help the boba, and for anyone else who needs extra kind of support with their study. So I think we've got them on board. But then, always with the secret agenda. What am I doing with these? So they agreed to accept the help from us. But at the same time, so they've kind of said they need to become guardians. That's their mission. But I think then, do we hear them say? I think they're. That is so. I'm trying to think now. Do I want like an immediate agenda that we need to act on, or a longer term one? I think they're. So I could think they either kind of want to report their secret agenda is to kind of report us. Okay, so this is my thought: is they want this secret agenda is that they want to become guardians, so it will tip the balance of power between them and the busy, so they can maintain the upper hand. I think in that dynamic, and I kind of have a sense of we. I think it's kind of like in a slightly later scene. So where it kind of cuts to us studying, and we, as part of that, as we're studying, so it kind of cuts to later, and we're studying, and we. Yeah, I think they turn to us and say, the boba, thank you for your help, with yet again with the support of the kind of guardians and the people of Sullus. We will defeat the busy once more. And we're like, what? That's not why we're helping you. And so we. I don't know if I have a question asked at this point. I think we need to do something about this. I think we need to get them kicked out of the school. So yeah, I don't know if I'm going to ask the next question. I think we just need to kind of deal with this. So I think we kind of push back our chairs and like are in complete disbelief. So we can't. That can't be the reason for doing this. And we. Yeah, I think we need to go and tell someone. Okay. I think we head to again, I'm going to use that as a kind of like referee. So I think we head to the principal's office. We kind of we push away and say we can't allow this, and so we get up to push away to go to the principal's office, and on the way there, I think Lasika is it kind of runs after and is threatening us, saying, accusing us of betraying them. He said, "You promised you would help. Like, how can you be a guardian of hope if you're going to take away all of our dreams?" And I think Eleanor is just going to turn around and just say, "You stop right now." And if I think she argues with him and basically says, "You stop right now. If you don't own up to and accept responsibility for what you're doing, I'm not going to be responsible for your actions." So she's going to try and stop him in his tracks. No. But I think we see his true side. So I think if Sad drops and he just says, "I'm not afraid of you," the Boba are we are powerful and influential. You think you mean anything to us? I'm not going to let you stop, kind of get in our way. And I think, I think Shane goes, "Really?" and summons his Prisma shield and Farg, and just like goes to shove his way past them. Okay, so he succeeds, but I think he kind of knocks over Lasika, who's kind of more hurt than expected, and I'm kind of torn between two different things that I want to do here. I think as we look at Lasika, and I think Kuria joins them as well, and we see this kind of look. We see this look on their face, and it kind of changes, and this black wisp starts to kind of like emanate from them, and we look on in kind of horror as some followers of the Spare emerge. So the kind of shadowy forms emerge from them and begin to pursue us. So the shadowy forms start to emerge, and as one, we yell, "Run!" and we turn to kind of run and shake them off, and I think draw them away from the others. So I think we're kind of running to the principal's office, and we're kind of yelling to the people in front of us to get out of the way. And I think, Eleanor is going to kind of fire some shots at the shadows. Okay, she misses, and I think does Mika have access to Prisma powers? I think Jisan is going to take a shot as well. Okay, so he hits, and I think the usual thing. He kind of overdoes it a little bit, where I think he fires and accidentally like brings down some of the building because the blast is so hard. He's like, "Sorry, everybody," but he's basically cut off the shadows. So I think we race on to the principal's office to alert them to what's going on, and that basically, we're kind of like spilling everything out that the Boba here, they're they've been cheating at the exams to become guardians, and they want to become guardians because they want to like defeat the busy, and you got to stop it. We can't allow this to happen. Blah blah blah, and it's all like falling out. So I'm kind of rambling on purpose. Okay, so the principal is like, no, calm down. But I think so he's not taking it on board right now. I think that was my. I think I've got one left. So I'm gonna check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I should have 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So I think I've spent one already. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But I think we get really, really angry. And I think Farg appears again beside Jasan. Actually, and Eleanor as well, and Demona. And I think we say, "You have to believe us." I don't think we're willing to quit for the sake of this. Okay, so I'm going to try one last time to persuade them. No, sorry, I should have one action left. No, okay. So I'm going to try and persuade them. No. But I think the principal says, I will they agree to kind of suspend them to basically conduct a review over the kind of exam process. They'll suspend the students whilst they investigate what's going on. And they're like, "But please just leave me. Let us do our job." So I think the episode ends with so I think we persuade them. The principal calls them in, and we did have a principal, which is Ms. Zanibo. So Ms. Zanibo calls them in and kind of asks them what's going on. They try to explain, make excuses. And she says, these are serious allegations that the other students are making about cheating, and plans that you have Now I can't act on them, but I am going to temporarily suspend you until we investigate the claims of cheating. And I think so. We're going to end the kind of episode with, well, the students. So Curia and Lasica, and I guess because of the element of despair appearing, coming through them, they said you're suspended until we can treat this despair, and we deal with this. So maybe it's not to do with the exam, but because of the despair element, they say you'll be removed from class until we can kind of help you come to terms with this despair. And the two of them kind of push back, and glare at us and say, "Nice one. Let me see. I think your days at the academy are numbered." And or just simply like, we're going to get you back for this, as they're kind of marched out. And I think the episode ends us back in the kind of the lunchroom, talking, and we're like, what is it with this place? We thought coming here was going to be filled with hope and, positivity, and there's like, this place is just the same as everywhere else. And I think Vika speaks up and says, well, it's our responsibility to bring hope to others, and it seems like we're going to have to start with bringing hope to the academy. And I think they're kind of like eating away, and Desan's kind of stuff in their face, and kind of mumbling that, kind of, I guess you're right, or he kind of goes, well, can I wait till I finish my lunch? And I think the others start laughing, and that kind of ends the episode. So we have, so I think they've made enemies. My kind of references are, in terms of threads, we have heroes made enemies of the boba. It's the kind of boba students. But no, actually, so it's the other way around. I'm going to rephrase that, because the third is the boba want to exact revenge on our heroes. Okay, so I think that's the end of the episode. Yeah, it's kind of interesting playing it at this scale. It's slightly more intimate than the big kind of epic adventures. Before I wrap up, if there's any questions that people want me to answer or give some ideas, things you'd like to see in future episodes, I think, Niels, as I mentioned, I will make a point of switching in some different story cubes for the session tomorrow, and we'll do maybe a more suspenseful journey. If you enjoy the episode, it as the usual, like and subscribe to, and I'll bring up my banner. It is We Are Hope Games, on all social media: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. You can find all the previous episodes on YouTube. I'd love if you're able to kind of spread the word, let other people know that you're watching this and enjoying it, and hopefully we'll get kind of more people interacting over essentially the second half of NaNoWriMo. So that's it. I'll be back tomorrow at 10 o'clock for the next session. Michael will be live later on, live streaming, I think, solo plays of Prisma Arena, the game, which is available to pre-order from our website. It's coming later this month. and Untold is available to buy now. And I am going to go and do some research at introducing some of the ideas we had for like future sets, like other ideas we had for Untold. I might start kind of like testing them out on these live sessions as well. I just got to go back and read over some of that reference material. So that's it. We're done. Thanks, everybody. And I'll see you back here at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning for episode 17. I can't believe it, of Prisma Arena, the animated series. Take care, and I'll see you all tomorrow.